Welcome back to Models and Agents, episode 126. It's July 29th, 2026. Let's see what happened in the AI world today. And trust me, it's been busy. Claude just found a previously unknown attack on a quantum-resistant signature scheme that survived 2 years of expert review. Anthropic's Mythos preview model discovered a practical break in the Hawk digital signature scheme. The same lab also released new research showing how frontier models can surface cryptographic weaknesses at scale. Remember, we covered frontier model capabilities yesterday. This new work applies those models to cryptographic discovery. The model found an attack on the Hawk digital signature scheme that reduced key strength by half after 60 hours of work. The same system sped up an existing attack on a reduced AES cipher by 200 to 800 times within a week. These results come from a model that had already received 2 years of expert scrutiny on Hawk. The symmetric cipher tested was a reduced version of the advanced encryption standard. Teams working on cryptographic implementations or automated red teaming should test whether similar preview access changes their evaluation pipelines. Now let's move to the model updates. Liquid AI released 2 open-weight bidirectional encoders built on the LFM2 hybrid backbone. Both support an 8190 CAD 2-token context window. The 350 million parameter model ranked 4th among 14 models on a 17-task glue, superglue, and multilingual suite. The 230 million parameter variant completes a single 8,000 token forward pass on CPU in roughly 28 seconds. The encoders are released as open weights. SK Telecom announced its own AI foundation model named AI.X K2. The release includes plans to distribute the model more broadly. No parameter count, benchmark numbers, or licensing details were shared in the initial announcement. Developers in the Korean market or those tracking regional foundation model efforts should monitor the forthcoming technical report for architecture and training details. OpenAI quietly released an open-source codex security CLI that scans repositories, tracks findings across runs, verifies fixes, and integrates into CI/CD pipelines. The tool is available via NPM with the command npx at openai/codex-security at latest-help. The CLI supports repository scanning, cross-run tracking of findings, fix verification, and CI/CD security checks. The GitHub repository contains both source code and documentation. Security-focused teams should add it to existing scanning workflows to compare signal quality against current static analysis tools. Wiz launched Atlas, an autonomous AI agent for vulnerability research that currently ranks first on the CyberGym benchmark. The agent focuses on finding security issues in cloud environments. Security researchers and red team operators should watch for public access or API details to test it against internal environments. Google launched Gemini Spark, a 24/7 personal AI agent, initially in Hong Kong. The agent is positioned for continuous personal assistance. Users in supported regions should test availability through existing Gemini channels to evaluate real-world reliability. A new preprint adapts classical Isnad-Rijal chain of transmission verification into a claim-level trust layer for multi-agent LLM systems. Each claim carries a graded transmission chain with independent corroboration scored separately from content evaluation. The author released both the paper and code plus evaluations. The approach draws on a roughly 12th-century-old methodology for verifying transmitted statements. Every claim receives a full chain of transmitters graded on integrity and precision. Teams building multi-agent pipelines that need provenance beyond agent identity should review the failure mode discussion for applicability. TabRank distills chain-of-thought reasoning into compact table re-rankers using 6,728 reasoning traces collected on the Natural Questions Tables dataset. The approach improves ACUs at 10 by 30.5% on hybrid QA, 15.2% on SQA, 52.9% on TabFact, and 13.1% on TAT-QA subsets of the multi-table QA benchmark. Code, data, and models are available at the repository. The method shows strong generalization to multi-table scenarios. Practitioners working on structured retrieval should test the distilled re-ranker against their current table ranking stack. Okay, let's pop the hood on the spike-induced sparsity work in neuromorphic diffusion models. Everyone talks about diffusion language models as a straightforward way to improve inference throughput over autoregressive decoding. In practice, the efficiency gain comes from a specific engineering choice, allowing multiple tokens to be generated per parameter access through block diffusion, then layering spike-based neuromorphic computation on top. The block mechanism alone raises token throughput, but the real leverage appears when spike-induced sparsity skips inactive channels entirely, cutting both parameter traffic and compute. On translation tasks, this combination delivers measurable energy and throughput wins even on platforms where standard masked diffusion models would lose to autoregressive baselines. The trade-off is that the sparsity pattern must be discovered at runtime. Overly aggressive skipping can drop accuracy unless the kernel uses online-soapmax statistics to decide which blocks to retain. The token-level roofline model developed in the work captures how block parallel generation and spike sparsity interact on decoding efficiency. When your workload is memory-bound and you already have neuromorphic hardware or a simulator, the approach is worth testing. If you are strictly compute-bound on dense GPUs, the added complexity rarely justifies the gain. The gotcha most teams hit is assuming the sparsity will be static. Real workloads require the kernel to adapt the skip mask per step. If you haven't tried the Codex Security CLI yet, this week is a great time because you can install it with npx at openai/codex-security at latest-help and run it on a small internal repo. Benchmark Liquid AI's LFM 2.5-encoder-230M on an 8,000 token CPU classification task you currently run with a larger encoder to measure latency and accuracy trade-offs. Review the ISN-AD paper and code if you maintain multi-agent pipelines that need claim-level provenance beyond simple agent logging. Test TabRank's distilled re-ranker on any table-heavy QA workload you have in hybrid QA or TabFact format. Further details on SK Telecom's AIDAT XK2 distribution and technical specifications are expected in the coming weeks. Additional results from Anthropic's Mythos preview cryptographic work may appear as other labs attempt replication. Public access or API details for Wiz Atlas and Google Gemini Spark remain pending. Tomorrow, keep an eye on further details on SK Telecom's AIDATX K2 distribution plans. That wraps up today's AI briefing. Share this with a developer or builder who wants to stay current. Subscribe wherever you listen. See you tomorrow. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at Nera Network. Links in the show notes. This show comes to you from the Nera Network. If you want another sharp daily briefing, Environmental Intelligence has you covered, the Environment and Climate Policy Brief for Canada. All our shows are free at neranetwork.com. Prefer reading? Today's full write-up, sources, and transcript are on the episode blog at neranetwork.com. Same briefing, readable format. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.